Lions Rock Productions.
This is Jay Moore.
This is Greg Cruz.
This is Bryce Vine.
This is Dexter from The Offspring.
This is Nathan
This
East.
is Sebastian Younger.
This is Daryl Amy.
This is Stuart Copeland.
This is Mick Gillette.
This is Andy Summers.
This is Dr. Bob Greenberg.
This is Gabby Reese.
This is Rob Bell.
Hey, this is John Leon Guerrero.
Hey, and this is Pete A. Turner.
Hey, everybody, this is Fran Strine, and you're listening to The Break It Down Show.
And now, The Break It Down Show with John Leon Guerrero and Pete A. Turner.
So I was on the road with the band Stained, and we were in Kansas City. I'll never forget it. And he calls me. He's like, hey, can you be in Nashville tomorrow morning? I'm like, well, I'm on the road. You know what I mean? For another 3 weeks. He's like, well, Dolly needs an album cover done and then some press photography.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Any way that you can skip out for a day or two? So I went and talked to the guitar player who's kind of leader of Stained, Mike Wushak. Like, Mike, I got this really cool opportunity. He goes, go.
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
Yeah.
I'll see you in Memphis or wherever the hell we're going to be in a couple of days. I'm like, okay. Fly in, and I had when I do album photography, I have a group of people as well that do all my lighting and get everything ready. And she's really white. You see Dolly, she's white with platinum hair.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful because doing photography, you can blow her out easily. So I had my team go up the day before and pre-light a mannequin head with her wig on it at her studio.
Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah. So I walked in at 8 o'clock in the morning. She was arriving at 10. She came in dressed as Dolly, like to the hilt.
Yeah.
We did this crazy photo shoot, and in the middle of it, she stops us, and there's a film crew there, and they were filming behind-the-scenes footage for a music video she was doing. She's like, could I shave your head for a scene in this movie, in the video? I'm like, absolutely, 100,000%. You can shave my head. Nobody, I'm bald if you're listening. So she sits me down, has a runner go get some, Barbasol or whatever, and a Bic shaving razor, and she proceeds to shave my entire head.
Yeah.
It's in the music video. It's called Change It. Yeah. And then I got to work with her again about a year ago. She put out another record, so I did her album cover then. But she is just the best. And she makes you feel, and you're talking about laughing. Yeah. She's just full of positive energy. But what I was going to say about the crying thing is sometimes you're like, how the hell did I get here? Because it's still, I don't take any of this for granted. So I'm working with somebody like a Dolly Parton or Sting or some of these giant bands I work for. It freaks me out.
Yeah.
As a fan, and growing up listening to these people, I'm like, I'm a guy from Lilburn, Georgia.
Right.
That lives in some weird town in California now, but how did I get here?
I started calling these Merkel moments, or Markle, or Meghan Merkel. It's Merkel, right? And because, here you are, you're fantastically famous, you've achieved your dream, you're an actress in a successful TV show.
Right.
And then you look down at your mom, and you're like, I'm marrying Prince Harry.
Yeah.
And how
my mom's a queen.
Yeah. How the fuck did I get here?
Exactly.
And they're like, but are we really, like, it's like this more than a pinch yourself moment. It's just.
Oh, man. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And the fact I stay at Ray, like, I was traveling back and forth weekly to meet with Ray.
Yeah.
Just doing development and stuff for the film. Like I said, I had to bring these stories out of him. So he was kind enough to let me stay at his, giant palace. I'm sitting there laying in this bedroom that's about half the size of this building. Like literally
Jesus.
One of the bedrooms. It's got like 7 or 8 bedrooms.
Yeah.
In Ray Parker Jr.'s crib.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to wake up in the morning.
His palatial estate.
Yeah. And
I'm his guest.
Yeah. Then you wake up and there's the maid there. She's like, would you like a cup of coffee, Mr. Strine? Or some eggs or something? I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
So you got coffee made for you. And then we'll go out on the night or whatever. Like went to a Kodak event one night. He's got a giant spiral staircase that goes upstairs to the bedrooms. He goes, I'm too tired, man, to climb these damn stairs. I was like, and there's a couple bedrooms downstairs. Like, you just going to sleep down here or what? He's like, no, follow me. So there's a closet door. You open it up. It's a fucking elevator. We're going to take the elevator up. Crushed velvet, red thing.
Of course.
It's beautiful. So we go up. It's like, you're crazy, man.
Does it play like, I'm in love?
I'm in love.
Yeah. With the other one. I got my own elevator music.
Yeah, he's so smart business. He's so business savvy. I was like, you need to teach me how you made all this money, because what is the story here? I mean, you've had some big songs, but not like Michael Jackson. But he's living like Michael Jackson, like huge.
Yeah.
He's like, man, and you'll hear about this in the film too. I'll go ahead and tell a little bit about it here. But his mentor growing up at a very early age, at about 20, was Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby's a billionaire. He may be a scumbag now or whatever, if these allegations are even true. He taught Ray how to save his money, and Ray listened to him.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys would just go blow their money on a Rolls Royce or giant houses.
Right.
He told me, he's like, you get your 100, so I think at 22 you got a check for $2 million for a Barry White song you wrote. And The Problem with Love.
Okay.
That's the name of the song. So Ray wrote that. So he got a $2 million royalty check at 21 or 22 years old. And he's like, pay your taxes first. Then what's ever left over, you take 25% of that and immediately put it into pension. Don't touch it. Forget about it. Take the other 25%, buy some stocks. Your other 25%, you're just going to keep safe and just put it in your savings and just forget about it. And then the last 25% is for you to whatever you want to buy. But that's your living expenses. That's everything. You have to live on that till you get another paycheck, and then you can do the same. So he did that throughout his career. He never touched.
Holy cow! And he's just sitting on a mountain of money.
Just every
and stocks that he bought 40 years ago.
Oh yeah, and let's not forget that he didn't. He retired before Ghostbusters.
He wrote Ghostbusters.
So he gets a call from Gary Lamel at Columbia Pictures, and it's like, we're having a whale of a time getting this song made. Are you interested? And he's like, not really. I'm taking care of my folks, and they're not doing so well, so I'm just taking some time off. They're like, we'll give you $50,000 if we'll just stay up overnight, just try to come up with something. So that's what he did, and in 4 months that album sold 10 million units. And by the way, nobody gave a shit about soundtracks back then, so guess what? They gave him all the publishing and the master.
Oh, my God.
Because they're just like, what's it ever going to do?
Yeah. Wow.
Today it sold 38 million units.
That's ridiculous.
And he keeps, every time there's a commercial, and he does it, it's worldwide,
Yeah.
UK, Japan, Germany. Volkswagen commercials, who you're going to call.
Sure.
So, yeah. That's the golden goose.
Yeah.
You don't touch the golden goose.
It's amazing how many, like you said, the allegations and all that shit, and then I shudder to bring this up because all the women who are affected by the Cosby situation deserve closure.
I'm sure there's some. Yeah, it is tragic when it does happen.
But there are so many stories of musicians who were positively impacted, or got some guidance at the right time, or something. I mean, he was at the pinnacle of his professional career. He was a guiding light to a lot of people.
Well, let me tell you something about these women on the road. I was joking earlier about getting laid or whatever.
Yeah.
That's all that happens.
Sure.
They're attracted to that or whatever. But they do get you through some of the loneliest times ever because there's nobody out there.
Yeah.
I was single for many years because who wants to date a guy that's gone 9 months out of the year?
Right.
Or longer.
Yeah.
And at a concert. You're gone and you're at a concert.
And,
Like
and they're hearing chicks
Yeah.
in a tour bus. Like, who's that? That's
just
Candy.
a girl. That's the girl
Right.
sucking my dick. Don't mind her.
Yeah. So it's like, those chicks are there.
Even in the best of circumstances, that's Candy. She's not even sucking my dick, but there's a dude sitting next to me, and she's sucking his dick.
She is sucking his dick, yeah.
So it's
You
like,
see it
yeah,
all
who
over a
wants to
20-year
get
career, man.
who
But-
wants to get with that?
Yeah. No, nobody. But
Yeah.
it's calmed down now.
Yeah.
Yeah, now everybody's fucking vegan and doing CrossFit. Like the family's on the road. I'm like, what happened? This is
Where are
rock
my
and roll.
TRX straps?
Yeah, I was like, what happened to the damn rock and roll?
Yeah.
It's completely changed now.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Buckethead's like,
Because there are
I
things
gotta
that
go
you
work
won't
out.
see anymore. It's like those records that are never going to be broken because all the circumstances are different now.
Yeah.
The baseballs are different, or the basketball. The circumstance there will never allow for, Motley Crue to see if there's a mom and a daughter and a grandma who will
let me
all
tell
do
you
them at the
something.
same time.
There's a restaurant right up here in this complex called Tuscanova.
Uh-huh.
It's an Italian place. I was sitting there Friday night eating, and Tom Lee walks in. He lives in a neighborhood, and he looks like he's been beat up with a baseball bat. He looked like dog shit.
Wow.
I've heard he and his son right now are
having real problems. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? It's like, pull your shit together, man. You got a kid.
Yeah.
And I've never been an addict. My father was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Right.
Till the day,
The problem is the kid needs you, and you're
get your shit together.
not together. Yeah.
Yeah.
And guess what? Now your kid is older, and he's able, and he's going to lash out. And before, when your kid lashed out, he threw a temper tantrum.
Yeah.
Now he's got a bigger understanding of the fact that what he needs and is not getting could be satisfied by you if you had your shit together, and he's going to lash out on your face.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
And that's rough.
When my ex-wife got pregnant with my kid, I didn't really do a whole lot of partying. I drank a little bit, some acid. Wasn't a cocaine or anything, but I was like,
Just some acid.
you just some asses. And, yeah, this is in the early 80s. I gotta quit everything.
Yeah.
Because had no ambition to do anything. I was not doing what I'm doing now. I wasn't even taking pictures then.
Huh.
I just fell into it. So I decided to stay clean, and I really didn't have anything to drink or anything until about 3 or 4 years ago. Living up in Northern California, there's Napa Valley.
Yeah, there's a lot of wine
yeah,
right outside
so I
your door.
picked up drinking a little wine here and there with dinner, but nothing, maybe a glass at dinner. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of my style, too. I mean, might have beer every once in a while, might have some wine every once in a while. And I love, bourbon. I love spirits. I like to drink gin with a cup. I have like that friend that we have a friend, Dr. Bob Greenberg is a professor of music at Cal and lives in Oakland, and we go to his house and we get snockered on gin every once in a while. But, there's a difference between having the proximity of the Napa Valley and going, I probably should check some of this out because this is the best of it the world has to offer.
I've been missing out all these years on this delicious red wine.
Yeah.
That was so great.
So, and your son is, how old is he now?
He's 28.
28.
Just June 15th, but he lives in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yeah. He lived with me for a while, and he'd seen everything. He aspires to be a filmmaker, but more like a Woody Allen or Coen Brothers type. He's not into the action or anything like that.
He's a storyteller.
Loves that kind of stuff, yeah.
Okay.
But, he's a pharmacist.
He's a pharmacist. That's how he earns his living.
It's a good hedge.
Yeah.
When did you realize you had to do this work? Because clearly you have to. You don't have a choice.
It came to me by accident, to be honest with you. I used to sneak my camera into concerts only to capture memories, nothing else, not to become
commercial.
I didn't give a shit. I was just like, there's a picture of Alice Cooper or Robert Plant or whoever. So I'd sneak my camera in, and of course I wanted to get the greatest advantage I could get, viewpoint. Now, I didn't know how to use a camera, so half the time the pictures looked like shit, overexposed or not, too dark or whatever. And after a while, I got the hang of it. And then my friends and family were like, "You're pretty good at this.
Yeah.
You got an eye." Well, you should after taking 4,000 pictures at one show.
3,900,
3,800 shitty ones.
Exactly. So after a while, I refined my skills a little bit. I was
yeah.
like, okay, maybe I should start paying attention. After a couple more years, I made a portfolio, and I sent it out to every publication. Rejection letter from all of them. We've got enough staff photographers. You don't work for the magazine. You license your photos.
freelance.
Yeah. So by some weird thing happening, the publisher for Metal Edge magazine, which was like the biggest metal magazine in the United States at the time, they gave me the editor's home address. So she was going to be forced to look at my shit.
Yeah.
So I sent it. She received it, and I didn't even know, but until I got an envelope in the mail several months later. It was called a picture purchase voucher. So it's them letting you know they're buying a picture of yours. I was out of my book, and it was a photo of Alice Cooper, and it was on the cover of the magazine. So my first picture ever was
made it to the cover of Metal Edge.
Good job, kid.
Yeah. But, it was only a quarter page. They had like a montage, but it still was on the cover.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite artists at the time.
Wow.
So the next thing
you and Alice Cooper have become friends since then.
Well, no, I've only met him the one time, but he was really friendly.
Okay.
We'll talk about that after this little thing.
All right.
Next thing I know, she started sending me on assignments in Atlanta because all the bands would come through. There were Pantera, and like Slaughter.
You got to play Atlanta.
Yeah, all these bands. So I became her go-to guy. Then I did my first music tour in 2000 called Tattoo the Earth. It was super heavy, like Slipknot, Slayer. So your name gets out there.
Yeah.
And I was friends with a band called Seven Dust. I don't know if you've heard of those guys from Atlanta.
Huh.
And they were recording a record, like their third album, with Butch Walker, who's not only a great producer, but a singer-songwriter as well for the Atlanta area. He produces Pink and Avril Lavigne, like a big-time producer.
Right. And
I was in the recording studio with those guys. The A&R guy was there, and I had a little Sony Handycam with me. I was just recording whatever. And the A&R guy was like, "Oh, you do video work?"
Oh, shit.
I'm like, "Why, fuck yeah, I do video work." He goes, well, we're looking for somebody to produce a making of DVD that's going to accompany the album. So when you buy the CD, there's a bonus DVD that comes with it, showing the making of that album. I was like, well, I live here. I'm really good friends with the guys. They trust me. You know, I can definitely do this. He goes, okay, submit a budget. This is when labels still had money. I had no idea what I was doing because I've only done photography. And I only bought the video camera when I went on a tour and just brought it with me to take my own personal movies, just like I used to do with the camera. Yeah. So I called a friend of mine out here that was a music video director, and I'm like, they want me to do this DVD. They said, I do these all the time. $75,000. I'm like, $75,000? They only want 15-minute long thing. That's okay. They got tons of money. I'm like, okay. So I came up. She helped me do the budget. I submitted it. Greenlit. There you go.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Bat an eyelash.
Didn't bat an eyelash. I didn't even own a computer. I'm not even lying. I didn't know how to use one. I didn't even have one.
First thing I buy, how to make a video for dummies.
Dude, I bought, you know what I bought?
What'd you buy?
Final Cut for Dummies.
Nice.
Final Cut 2, I think it was.
Let's see, there it is.
So I bought the little round egg iMac thing.
Yeah.
So I kind of bullshit on it. And it came out great. It was a huge fan favorite. Has some really funny moments on it. Then I became that guy. Yeah. So like, we want to hire Fran to come in. It'd be like Nickelback or Stained or whoever, Seether. And all these bands, and then
never know.
So when I was with Stain, they had me on retainer year round. So they would do an album cycle. They start from scratch.
This episode of the Break It Down Show is brought to you by Lions Rock Productions.
That's us.
We publish, evaluate, and develop podcasts just like this one, consult others to build their own, and create associated content and content marketing strategies.
So if you're launching or expanding your social media presence, your business or your personal brand, or if you just want to take your media presence to the next level,
reach out to us on Twitter
at Pete A. Turner
or at JohnLG69
at the Break It Down Show.
There's 1,000 ways to get a hold of us.
Now enjoy the show.
Stain, they had me on retainer year round. So they would do an album cycle. They start from scratch. So Aaron Lewis lives up in the Berkshire Mountains of Massachusetts. They would rent me a car, and I'd just stay up there for 7 or 8 months while they're writing, recording, mixing, the whole thing. And I did a documentary called Stain, the Making of, their debut record. And it was highly controversial because the band went through a lot of shit during making that album. Like the singer was being a complete dick. The drummer got kicked out of the band for various reasons. It was an eye-opener for a lot of people. And that's when I was just like, you know what, this is cool because I had a lot of emotion to it. And like, it was tragic.
Yeah.
Really tragic. It was sad because I was really good friends with all those guys, and to see those guys just fighting like this was not a good feeling. And then I got called to do the Five Finger Death Punch tour, and I was taking a summer off. I got a call or email from the guitar player. We hear you're the guy to come out on tour with us. Thanks for the offer. I'm taking the summer off. I'm fried.
Right.
3 weeks later, sends me another email. We can't find anybody we're happy with. Would you please consider doing it? I rejected again. Then he wrote me another email. About a week later, it's like, just name your price. Like, what will get you out of the house? So I gave him a note. I was like, if they can match this number, I'm out. So I threw a number out there, and they're like, pack your bags. You're coming to Palm Springs for rehearsals.
Damn.
I was like, fuck.
That means the number wasn't big enough.
Yeah, I was like, I should have made the number.
I should have put a 1 in front of it.
Yeah, no, sure. A bunch of more, yeah. So I went out with those guys, and it was just a shit show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just not a good touring experience. I mean, they're a big band, but they don't travel well. At the time, they weren't. They were big. And the singer at the time was a complete nightmare.
That's an advanced level band thing, though.
Yeah.
Getting that travel part right. You know, whatever band it is, anybody who's done it for a long time, they know how to do it.
Yeah.
Even if they don't get along,
it's got to be comfortable, man. Spend the extra whatever it's going to be, because when I toured with Stain and those guys, it was first class, everything, hotels.
Right.
Like they treat their crew like family. Like there's lifers that have been there since they were,
because they're like your crew. Like, I know this guy's going to make sure
they're going to deliver every time.
Yeah.
So I was with those guys for 8 solid years, man. And so I still talk to the guitar player.
7 Dust, Five Finger Death Punch, 4 Non-Blondes.
Who else?
Nickelback, threes?
3 Doors Down.
3 Doors Down. There
Did
you
a
go.
lot of work with those guys. Still,
all right, we got a 2 in there anywhere?
2. No.
Tupac.
Damn it.
No.
Tupac, yeah.
You know what? I do have a little Tupac story.
See?
I do. There's a guy in Hired Gun that's in there for 3 seconds. His name is Michael Fish Herring. I call him Fish.
Uh-huh.
I was only a camera operator. I didn't direct the video, but Nas did a remake of Tupac's Thug Mansion. This was when I was still living in Atlanta many, many years ago, and I got called to be a camera operator on the music video. So in essence, I kind of
There's a connection.
So Tupac,
Tupac.
3 Doors Down,
Yeah.
5 Finger Death Punch, 7 Dust.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So you got a pattern.
I do.
Yeah.
That's
You
weird.
should work on Wonder Woman. No.
One,
No.
right?
No, we're
Oh,
not
One
doing
Direction.
that. One Direction.
No, never worked with it. Yeah,
They'll call.
yeah.
Part of what you
would
do.
think.
It's almost inevitable.
I'm trying to think of all the art. I've worked with a bunch of cool. You know, there's a band. One of my favorite tours ever did was with a band called Dragon Force,
Really?
and they did. Remember the Guitar Hero?
Yeah.
thing? They were the band that you had to beat.
Oh.
They were that technical. Like they're just freaks.
Yeah.
And I got called to go on a tour with those guys. They're just maniacs. Like the one guitar player, Herman, who's like the guitar god, was born in Hong Kong, so he's Chinese or whatever, but he raised in the UK. He's got a British accent, full on.
Yeah.
So you're looking at him, it's like equilibrium's all weird.
Totally.
But he lives
You're
right
looking
over
at
here.
Jet Li and talking to Hugh Grant.
Yeah, it's like the
Exactly.
Korean kid that's got the
Yeah.
southern accent. You're like, what? It just
Oh,
does
yeah.
not
Oh, I know.
work.
When I tell people
Joe.
I'm born in Spain, they're like, "You sound like a hillbilly." I was like, "Well, yeah, I lived there for 5 years. I grew up in Atlanta."
Well, Billy Bob Thornton was born in Spain. Not really.
Yeah, no. He's here tonight. I think he's performing with his band, the Box
Oh, no,
Masters.
you're serious? Wow.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I have a good friend of mine that's his photographer.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll tell you another aha moment for me in my photography career, because I wasn't making any money working for metal. That's just like they didn't live photography. It's
Yeah.
like, here's $60 for this,
Right.
or $100 for that, or for Rolling Stones a couple hundred. I'm like, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, there's world famous photographer's name is Niels Lozauer. He did the Van Halen 1 album cover, like all that kind of stuff, like the guy. And I was at an AM show many, many years ago, and I'm like, it heard of me. He'd see my name in the magazines or whatever. And I'm like, how the fuck do you stay afloat? He goes, are you shooting any ad photography for him? I was like, no, just live stuff. He goes, get the fuck out of go shoot advertising.
That's the shit that he does just so he stays in the advertising mix.
Well, you got to go shoot like Ibanez,
Yeah.
PV, Gibson.
Yeah.
So I started making those calls, and sure enough, man, the bank account was like fat. I was like, wow, I've been missing out all these fucking years, man.
Yeah.
Had to do this 5 years earlier.
You should have bought that. How to make money shooting video.
Yeah, I know, right? How to become a real photographer.
Yeah, how Bill Cosby tells you to save your money. You know?
Yeah, exactly. So, man, these people are like, I remember I did one for Orange Amps. They're like, okay, we have $26,000. I was like, $26,000? And I'm doing the math. I'm like, I can do this for about
What the fuck am I going to do with all that money?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I know this shoot's going to cost about $2,000 to $2,500 all in. And I even had to travel to D.C. to do it. Like, we rented out this old garage and lighting everywhere. It took half a day. They don't give a shit, but the money's got to go.
Yeah,
Right. They want the money to go so they can get a bigger budget for next year. Now, forget it.
Yeah.
You can't get
Different
anything.
time.
Way different. I remember when it hit, it scared the shit out of me. I'm like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
But I
I'll
was.
make movies. No big deal.
but even that's scary, man.
What do you think is going to happen with Gibson?
Oof. That's such a big brand itself.
Yeah.
I think they're going to come around.
Okay.
They just got to get the right people in there.
Yep.
It's never going to
Seems
go.
like
It's too
this
big of
weird push to go towards consumer electronics. It doesn't seem like that's their wheelhouse.
No.
It seems like they're betraying what should be their
I'll tell
core
you what I
audience.
think happens to them. They don't figure it out. It's hard to figure out.
It is. Let me tell you.
And the brand is worth something, so they'll do boutique guitars, high-end,
Yeah.
$5,000 guitars.
Yeah.
I
They
think
sell 25,000 of them a year and make money.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I shot hired gun digitally with a camera called the Red.
Yeah.
$100,000 camera. Beautiful camera. But it's not film.
Yeah.
And we did our press screening, I was saying about you earlier, in L.A. There was a gentleman sitting in the front row with Kenny Aronoff. It was Kenny's friend. Movie's over. We did our Q&A, and I'm going out in the lobby just to get away. And he approaches me. He's like, I got to talk to you for a second. I was like, hey. He goes, why didn't you shoot your movie on film? I was like, because it would have cost me $7 million. Because film's really expensive.
Yeah.
He goes, my name is Steve Bellamy. I'm the president of motion picture at Kodak. This film's amazing. If you'd have shot this on film, you'd be qualifying for an Oscar this year. Here's my card. Let's have a talk. Your next film will be shot on film. So I had a conversation with him, and he gave me a sweetheart deal and signed me on as one of the directors. So I get film at a very lovely discount.
Yeah.
It's going to afford me to be able to shoot on it. And that's a dream.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
it's the same thing with Gibson. Like Kodak went away for many, many, many years, and they're now making a resurgence.
Sure.
So I'd say for every 10
Somebody
movies,
figured something out with
yeah,
that.
for every
exactly.
well, you know what it is the emotion, because you can tell there's that emulsion in film
Yeah.
that will give you that same emotion that like a great score or a great scene in the film will. Because when you're watching digital, you can see the hard edges around a body and everything. It's just not.
Even if you don't see it, you perceive it.
It's just like and when I watch movies now, I can tell. Like I went to go see Ocean's 8 the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible. Then I went to go see something else like,
Did you cry?
No. It was terrible.
At Ocean's 8.
First of all, it wasn't Steven Soderbergh.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
and it's the 15th copy of that
Who
same
was it?
story or
Yeah.
whatever.
I don't even know who did it.
I don't
I mean, that's indicative of what they had in them. I mean, you got the names
Yeah.
on the screen, but that's not
That
enough.
doesn't matter.
That's not enough.
You got to have a great story. They did not have. I tell you what was a great movie that freaked me the fuck out was Hereditary.
Huh. I've not seen that.
Oh, did you see it?
I was big time into that movie.
I was too,
I went
man.
and saw it 3 times.
I saw it
liked that
twice.
movie too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it was great.
let's talk about emotion.
Yeah.
That poor kid with his mother screaming with the nightmare, like, I wish you were never born.
Yeah.
I wanted to miscarry you so bad. I'm like,
Holy shit.
what am I watching?
What
This is the most disturbing thing anybody could ever say to a child.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You want to
But it
break
was
a kid.
Yeah, but it was not. It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Thank God, because I was like, I don't know if I can forgive this director and writer for putting this in the movie because it was
That
awful.
movie was heavy.
Heavy.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah. Those are the kind of movies I like.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and did you watch The Witch?
I didn't.
See, The Witch is kind of like that. It's not a horror movie. It's just very unsettling.
Yeah.
Yeah. The dialogue's a little weird because it's 16th century, but if you
Right.
get past that, the story is horrific.
Sometimes that's part of the charm.
It is. It was so authentic, it was creepy.
And that authentic 16th century dialogue brings you to a place where you have to wonder if human beings were wired differently.
They most certainly were.
You know, and
Yeah.
that only adds to the mystique of whatever's weird about it. It's
Right.
like, you know, this is a different kind of human being.
Right.
I didn't see the movie. I don't know what.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of that director now.
What do you want? I mean, I know right now you're working on the Ray Parker thing, and clearly that's going to be awesome because everybody wants more of your work. But what's out there, like maybe 5 steps ahead, where you're like, I can't even really think about this yet, but I know I need to make.
You know, I have a slate of projects.
Okay.
Right now, so first one is Ray, and next one's kind of a spinoff on Hired Gun, which will probably be a docuseries. But the one I'm really excited about that's has a little bit to do with music, was more of a social angle, is there's a concert film. I don't think it's been released yet. Concert for Kombucha, for the Cambodian landmines, because people are still getting blown up over there. But it was in the early 80s. It was Queen, Paul McCartney.
Wow. Right.
The Who.
That's a whole lot of nights.
Oh, man. It's incredible. Man.
Yeah,
I've got to
I
see
bet.
some of the footage. It's sick.
Yeah.
But it's more of the story of the crisis going on. There's still 30, 40 million landmines that are active.
That's
and
crazy.
40 or 50,000 kids that are stepping on them, getting their legs blown off. And I think it's a cool story. It needs to be told, and maybe some, you can't solve all the problems.
No.
But you watch some of these documentaries like the Mr. Rogers. It's about having empathy and compassion for other human beings, especially in today's climate.
Boy.
And that's why it resonated so well. I mean, the movie's already made $10 million for a $300,000 movie, probably.
Well, and it grabbed the heartstrings immediately the first time you watched the trailer.
Oh, man, watching the trailer, almost crying.
Yeah.
But when you're there.
And you have a Pittsburgh connection, too.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah. Great storytelling. But I've got a few things now. But I got to really, just like you said, just focus on one thing.
Yeah.
Like you burn the bee dream thing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's.
Right. It's not time for that.
It's not time. You got to focus all year. I'm telling you, making Hired Gun was a real eye-opener because everything else I've ever done, it was handed to me.
Yeah.
Like all the music, all the art. I didn't have to do anything. Just put the pieces together.
Yeah.
Now, you're into, like, I didn't know about licensing music. Are you fucking kidding me? I was like, it costs how much to license?
Music to license.
Ton. I didn't know about music scores. I was using the library of music. And my music supervisor, who actually did The Wrecking Crew, her name's Julie Houlihan.
And that was an enormous task to get that
enormous.
licensed. Yes.
Oh, my God. She told me that was just like a nightmare. But I'm like, these library songs suck. Because they weren't doing the job. There was no cohesive theme.
Uh-huh.
So she's like, well, let me give you some agents and reach out to some composers. I'm like, well, it's not going to cost an arm and a leg. She goes, it'll be the same, maybe cheaper than all these shitty library songs you're going to have to license.
Yeah.
It was like 35 or 40,000 to get a composer. And we wound up using an old EDM band, not old, but an EDM band called the Crystal Method.
Sure.
Yeah.
Back in the day. So they now score moves. They did Fast and Furious 7.
Oh,
they do
good.
Bones. They do Home.
Because there's money in
Their
that.
House. Tons of money.
Yeah.
So I didn't know nothing about scoring in there.
That really is the thing. Like, these musicians are moving into that world.
Oh, they have to. Yeah. So I was like, I don't know anything about what do I got to do. She goes, well, find somebody you like. Then you're going to go down to a spot session. That's where you sit and you show the movie. You're sitting there with the composer. And you're like, this is how
talk about themes as you
I
walk
was like, I
through.
want it to sound like this or that. So I spent a whole day with him. Couldn't have been more of a nice guy. His name's Scott Kirkland. Brilliant. He had zero time to do this, by the way, like 2 weeks. So I gave him a huge task, and he came through and just killed it. You know?
Yeah.
And it's something you don't hear in a lot of documentaries. It's like kind of EDM-themed
Yeah.
type music, and I thought it resonated well. And
Oh, it worked
Yeah.
beautifully.
yeah, no, I was really, really fortunate that I met the guy. What else? Yeah, the music licensing was another thing. Here's a tidbit that I'll tell you that nobody knows. When Jay Graydon's doing the guitar solo for Peg, okay, so the listener knows, there's two components to licensing music. One is the publishing, that is the songwriter's share, right? There's another whole component called the master that the record label owns.
Right.
So the record label gets that money. The publishing money goes to the songwriter and artist, right? And you have to clear both of them have to agree.
Yeah.
If one doesn't, you're fucked.
You can't have it. Yeah.
Yeah. And this was before Walter Becker passed. And, of course, they're really good friends with Jay. So immediately they said, yes, you can use the song.
Yeah.
However, Warner Brothers was not having it. Nope. Not going to let you use the song. I'm like, fuck, we were right at the scene, man. We cut that. That was a $30,000 segment we cut. You know, it was done.
Yeah.
Like, we're clearing that.
You had a sunk cost already.
Sunk. So I'm like, what's the workaround? And Julia was like, a re-record or like a karaoke version. I'm like, I can't do a karaoke version. This is a real music film. I can't put karaoke music on this.
Yeah.
So I remember when I interviewed Jay, he's like, I still want to be in the game. I don't want to be out. So I just called him. And I was like, I've got a problem. So I explained to him the issue, and he's like,
I'll play it again.
he goes, you got any money? I was like, yeah, we got some money. He's like, I want to do the re-record. He goes, I'll make it sound exactly. You won't even know the difference. I'm like, okay. He goes, give me a week. I was like, you got it. This is how crazy. When I tell you he's a mad scientist genius, this is how I mean. What you hear in the movie, that's Jay Graydon.
That's not the original.
He
Peg
re-recorded the whole fucking song.
Wow.
And it sounds, the tone. Matter of fact, we didn't record this part, but I went to go visit him, and he had the guitar and the amp that he actually did the Peg solo 40 years ago. That's what he did it with. The same amp, same guitar. He goes, I didn't know if the amp would even fire up because I thought it'd start arcing in flames and shit because they haven't been turned on in 30 years. But it turned on.
Fired up, and it did that, man.
Well, here's the thing. We had the real Peg in the cut. So I had to go back to Skywalker, take that out, and replace it with Jay's.
Yeah.
He only recorded what I needed. He didn't record the whole song.
Yeah.
He did it so perfect that when the sound mixer went to go put the song in, he didn't have to nudge it, not even a frame.
No shit.
Not even one frame. He just laid it in there.
One frame, everybody,
Say
is
that.
a 24th of a second.
Yeah.
Yep.
He didn't have to nudge
Not
it
one frame.
fucking frame.
We were just sitting there with our mouths open. I'm like, this is fucking nuts. He's that good, man. Jay Graydon is a freak.
He gets to be all germ freaky because he does that.
Yeah.
He delivers the same
He's
skill,
wired
same problem. Yeah.
different, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else, any kind of weird. Oh, in the Jason Newsted segment, when he's talking about Cliff Burton dying, bus accident, you see the newspaper going across, like, you know, Cliff Burton dead at 24. And Jason's telling the story about it, and you hear this bass riff playing. I had put a temporary score of Orion from Metallica in there.
Sure.
And Scott Kirkland's like, how am I going to beat this? I mean, why did you do this to me? You know what I mean? You could have picked something else.
Right.
So he's like, give me the weekend, I'll have something. I'm like, okay. So I look at Dropbox. Monday morning, he pinged me and was like, check your Dropbox. I'm like, okay. Now I'm listening to what's in the movie now, and I'm like, oh my, I had chills. I thought I was going to fall over. He goes, I made a phone call to a friend who's a bass player, the bass player for a band called Tool. So that's who did the bass overdub.
Wow.
For that.
It's a good choice.
Yeah, Justin Chancellor is his name. Just crazy, man. And he was a huge Jason Newsted fan and Cliff Burton fan, so it was like he was almost possessed by those guys and just nailed it. Yeah.
One of the stories that you tell in the film is the Jason Newsted story. The highlight about that is that, Cliff Burton was beloved by Metallica fans.
Yeah.
And Jason Newsted stepped into that role, and not only was he able to take the mantle and honor it, but he gave a new direction for fans to look and not have to leave the Cliff Burton experience behind.
Right.
He came in, he was a different guy with a different outlook. He had a different set of chops, and he never betrayed the Cliff Burton thing. And, man, that story and the way you were able to capture how he felt about it.
Oh, man, let me tell you something. I've known Jason for a bunch of years. I called him. I was like, would you be in my movie? You have a really cool story. He's like, yeah, man, how about Saturday? I'm like, all right. So I show up with the crew, just play Saturday, was set up. And Jason's a very intense guy in his own right. Just everything's 100%. He's the hardest worker that I've ever seen in my life. Wow. I've never seen anybody work this hard, ever. He just doesn't have to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he does.
And you work in an elite industry where you have to work hard even just to stay alive.
Right.
And he's outworking everybody.
His work ethic is second to none.
That's impressive.
Nobody. I thought Mike Mushock from Stained was one of the hardest workers. He makes him look like a lazy welfare.
What makes you say that, though? Give us an example of what that work looks like.
Okay, so Mike Mushock was in the Jason Newsted band. He put in an album. And I would go over there every day to film because I made their making of DVD. And it would start at 10 o'clock in the morning and go till 8 o'clock at night. 7 days a week.
Jesus.
By the way.
Right.
For 3 months before they went in the studio and cut one note. Wow. I mean, it was just redundancy all day, all night. And even Mike's like, I'm a hard worker, but goddamn, this is killing me.
Right.
Just like, trust me, it'll make you a better player. Just keep with the program. And that's how he did. When he told me when he did the audition for Metallica, he had finagled his way to get a set list of the whole tour, of the whole set that they played on the tour previously. He learned the whole set.
Every note,
every song. And he walked in, and he looked at Lars. He goes, "Pick a song." He goes, "What do you mean? Just pick any song." Well, we got the.
Where do you want to start?
Yeah, he goes, "We gave you 3 to learn." He goes, "Well, I'll learn all 12. Pick a song." He 50 bass players, and he was the last one. And he got a call back, and I think there was 4 or 5 other guys that were in the thing, and he came back and just nailed it.
Yeah,
and got the gig, and they beat the shit out of him. His whole career never stopped.
Yep.
But he worked hard, persevered, just kept his head down and did it. The band came first. He goes, no kids, didn't care about getting married. The band comes first.
Yeah, that was exactly what they needed. That was the only thing they could have had in that place to pull him out of that hole.
Right. And this really brings us nicely full circle, because when what the movie is partly about is those realities. When you want to play guitar in a band or bass or drums or whatever, there's a Jason Newsted out there who will absolutely kick you in the fucking dick the second you take a breath.
Yep.
And
There's
as
always
soon as
somebody there.
right. So that's what you're competing against.
If you get complacent or lazy,
right,
or start to get an attitude a little bit and try to step out in front of that star, you're going to get slapped hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've seen it.
Yeah, and you might not recover from it.
Yeah, I mean, you're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you think you're going to, because the star does have an ego, let me tell you. If you try to, step on that ego a little bit too much, you're
sure.
Yeah. They all talk about it, trust me.
Yeah.
They're terrified of the next young kid coming up behind them.
Yeah, well, they got a pretty sweet gig.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
true.
Yeah.
So the film is called Hired Gun. The filmmaker is Fran Strine. And, hey, man, that movie was a motherfucker, and you are a motherfucker, too. We really appreciate you doing this with us. And
it was a lot of fun to make. It was hard, but a lot of fun. And for the people that want to watch it, it's currently streaming on Netflix.
However, the good way to get it.
Yeah, the good way is go to Amazon and buy a DVD.
Spend a few bucks. Get the DVD.
Yeah, get the extra stuff in there with Steve Vai, I think. Greg Fillinganes tells some incredible stories about working with Michael Jackson.
Oh, he's got great
The
stories.
Jason Newsted story, like you've never heard about the real reason he quit Metallica, and he went there.
Wow.
It was one of the most intense interviews I've ever conducted, and he went all the way in.
That's worth the $10.99 for
yeah, and I think actually on iTunes they do show the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
So you can get it on iTunes, Amazon. You can still download it on Amazon.
And you guys know how this works. When you do go to Amazon and you buy it, do a 5-star rating because that helps people find the movie. It is an excellent movie. And
Thank
no
you.
bullshit. We're not getting paid to say that.
Yeah.
When you said yes, I told John.
So you give me that $500 back?
Not a chance.
Right.
But no, seriously, leave 5 stars. Leave a review because that's a way of also paying back for the great work that you've done.
Thank you,
So I'll certainly will buy one and send it on to somebody else because I've watched it and I want them to get it. But, it's the good gift, and I'll give you the gift of 5 stars because I want people to know your work because it is.
I appreciate it.
In case nobody else knows, me and Dolly, we think you're great.
Yeah. I love Dolly Parton so much. Well, and then to keep a lookout for this new film with Ray Park.
Right.
It's called Who You Gonna Call. It's a brilliant story, man. Everybody, you know him as the Ghostbuster guy, but that's actually the smallest thing he's ever done.
Yep.
Everything else triumphs that, and the human being that he is.
Yeah.
So it's a human story. Morality, the whole thing. It's
And you guys don't even know how much you love Ray Parker, so you're gonna
the
fall
stuff
in
he
love
played
with him.
on, man. It's just
Yeah.
timeless. It'll never go away.
And he's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, he is, and a cool motherfucker.
Yeah.
He's the nicest guy I've ever met.
Well, I'd say Fran Strine is the nicest guy you ever met. Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on.